Hey everyone, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. I want to update you all on this situation we've had with the lead paint in our rental house here. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I recorded a video sometime in the fall explaining our situation. So I'll link to that video up here or something and also below. Start there first. That has a lot more detail. I've been holding off on making this update because first I was like waiting for there to be something to update, and then I just have it in my head, I really want to make this video like kind of showing some of the steps that we've taken to reduce our exposure to any lead while we're living in this house, and I feel like that's super important to put out there. I'm just running into some editing issues in my mind like that. It's just been so important, so I haven't wanted to make this update until that was done, and I'm still going to try to make that because, like I said, it's so important, especially with all this stuff going on now in Flint, Michigan. Lead is something that people are really kind of like, it's raising awareness, I guess, so, and more people are interested in asking questions and stuff, which I think is super important. I will link to the best resource I have come across, which is the Lead Safe America Foundation. I'll link to them. For anybody who has any kind of questions, they'll be able to answer much better than I will. And you can also request testing kits if you need to test your house. So, I also want to make a correction to something that I said in the previous video. I was still very much like new to all of this and learning myself, and something that I had said in the video was that I was concerned about the kids inhaling lead dust and getting kind of, that being a main method of exposure or whatever. I have since learned that that is not really so much of a concern. It's really more like ingestion. I think a couple times in the video I just misspoke, but I did want to put that out there. If every breath we were taking in this house, we were like breathing in toxins, then we would not be living here anymore. Lead does, the main like means or whatever of like lead poisoning is through ingestion, so eating any kind of like anything that has dust. It is eating the lead dust versus just breathing it in, okay? All right, so where we left off, we were requesting a lead assessment through the county where we live. We got that done. They came in and did like extensive testing. I don't know, it took the woman who came like 3 hours probably. She went all over the property, outdoors, indoors, upstairs, downstairs. She had like a super crazy, like high-powered, some sort of laser gun to instantly like tell her where there was lead everywhere. She also took samples of things. We got the results back from that and found out exactly where the lead paint is, which is sort of exactly where we thought it was because we had tested with swabs. So it's all around all the windows, all the window frames, and all of the main door frames, which is typically where in older homes where they use lead paint because it's really durable. So it's usually around like friction surfaces, doors, windows. Also, we were surprised to find out that the lead dust in our attic was off the charts high. The kids don't go in the attic. The attic was only used for storage, and we've since moved a lot of things out of it. But yeah, and the ventilation system doesn't go through the attic, so we're not really sure where that lead dust, how that got there. There are some windows up there, so I guess it's just, I don't know. So that was eye-opening, and we have like really taken efforts to totally avoid the attic. As I plan to share in my like tips video, we've taken many measures to reduce our exposure while we're living here, in terms of some of the practices that we've changed and just some of the cleaning that we do. We also have twice now, I believe, borrowed a vacuum cleaner from the county that has the HEPA filter. We've since actually bought one. We got a really good deal on just like a kind of normal kind of vacuum that has a HEPA filter. I know we got it at Costco for less than $100. So we've been using that as well, and I really feel like that cuts down on any like lead dust that's around. Also in the winter now, we have window film. I mean, these are like old, very bad windows. We have the window film that's like the plastic wrap sort of on the window. So we're not really worried right now about like the dust coming off of those windows because we're not using them and they're encapsulated behind this plastic, So that helps. The county assessment also, they tested the soil outside, and that was a big sigh of relief that they didn't find any lead in the soil. So we don't have to be worried about gardening or the kids playing back there or anything. So our next step when that assessment was done was to look at applying for a grant to get the lead that's here abated. What that would mean for this house would be all new windows, like from top to bottom. I haven't even counted them, but the county has, I think it's probably 26 windows or something like that, including the attic, the basement, everything. And then repainting the the thresholds for the doors as well. Like all the work would be done by a totally like lead certified company. There's a whole process for that, and we would be living somewhere else while that work was going on, because that's the safest, that's the only safe way to do it really. If you're going to have any work done in your house whatsoever, everybody moves out until the job is completely finished. So we said, let's go ahead and apply for this grant. However, we needed our landlady to kind of sign off on it, and she wouldn't do that. I believe for rental properties, the owner has to pay $500, and then the county grant picks up like $10,000 plus over that, the actual cost of the job. So it's amazing, and it'd be great for her to like get that done, get that completely taken care of, just as like protecting her own investment in this house, and essentially receive $10,000, $12,000 to do it. But for whatever reason, she was not comfortable with that for a little bit of time. The one other thing we had asked for before winter started was to repaint for the property management company to repaint the thresholds of the doors, just paint over what was there so that there wasn't any active chipping, because it's like where we step going in and out of the door multiple times a day, in both doors. And the landlord didn't want us to do any kind of painting ourselves. Everything had to go through property management. So we asked them to hire a lead abatement certified company to do that work, and they didn't. They sent their like regular handyman, who is not lead certified at all, and he came with just like a wet sander and said, this is how we always do it. We work in all kinds of houses like this. It's fine. It's safe. And we know now, like we know enough to say like, that's not safe. Our kids are in the house. Our kids aren't supposed to be in the house to have any kind of work done whatsoever. If you're touching like a lead paint surface, everybody's supposed to be out of the house completely. So that wasn't going to work, and we had to like refuse. It was sort of like a tense moment. It wasn't the handyman's fault, but it just wasn't something we were in any way comfortable about. So they basically were like, fine, we're not doing anything then. Me, myself, even though I know the owner of the house didn't want us to like do anything, I took this clear acrylic spray that I have, and before it got cold, I sprayed both of the thresholds just so that no new paint would chip off, hopefully, during this winter. It seems to be like doing the trick. So it didn't disturb anything. I didn't do any kind of sanding. I didn't technically paint. It's just like a sealant sort of. And that has seemed to be like a temporary fix, at least for us, to get through this winter until kind of next steps. So finally, around Christmas time, we ran into the landlady just at a community event. And I think she was like surprised to see us, and I think running into her there kind of softened something in her. Maybe it was the holidays, I don't know. But shortly thereafter, she said she would go ahead with the grant, and she just had to sign her one piece of paper, and then we had to provide all sorts of other information. It's income, there's an income cap, and we fit that, so that's why we're eligible just as renters, as tenants. So we had to provide all sorts of information for our income and our kids' birth certificates and things like that. And we had to get the kids lead tested at their doctor again, and it was a little bit of a process just to get all that paperwork submitted. But we got everything in right at the sort of beginning of that grant period opening, and we just in the past week have learned that we have been like approved for the grant and things are moving forward. The county came out again last week to just double check everything again and like make sure that there wasn't anything that they had missed, and sort of preparing the like work proposal, whatever it is that they're going to send to bid to the lead certified companies. And also they screened for mold, like black mold in the house, which I thought was really cool, that that's something else they, are like looking out for people for. So at this point, it's good news. The woman that came out said she thought that we might have new windows in about 3 months' time, as the weather will need to warm up a little bit, and we will have to go stay at my parents' house for about a week or so while the work is being finished, and then everything has to be totally cleaned up, and the county will again come out and clear and make sure that there's no lead, there's no dust remaining, there's no paint exposed, anything like that, before we come back in, so that the kids will be totally safe. Now through all this, the kids have been tested, I think at least three times now, and their levels have always been low, so not elevated. Again, we would be having a much different conversation if they were showing like, if their levels were in like a poisoning level or something. A lot of people in my last video suggested just moving out. Like, it's not worth it, just leave. Besides like logistical and financial issues with that, we have decided that we're just going to see things through here, that there is enough, we have enough hope, I guess, for the situation to be improved, that we will see this through before we kind of start over. I mean, you could walk into a new place and have the same issues all over again, or you could have other issues. You know, the lead paint aside, things are working well in this house, in this neighborhood, and you know, we would like to see it work out. The other like main factor is just that I don't trust that if we leave, I don't trust that the landlord will go through with getting the windows repaired the way she should. And knowing what I know, I don't feel good about, you know, another family potentially moving in, not knowing as much about the risks and things that we do, not having all the information that we have, and the owner just, you know, rent to another family and the kids be exposed to lead, and, you know, I'm just not okay with that. I feel like we have a responsibility to any other families in the future that live here after us. So that's where things stand right now. This is mid-February, almost mid-February now, and so we're hoping to have the new windows and all the work done maybe in May, maybe in June, something like that. Our lease is up in the end of July, and we don't know if we'll be staying here or if we'll be moving at that point, but either way, I feel like this is really the right thing to do to continue on and hopefully get all this taken care of. Above everything else, I just want to encourage you guys to test your own homes, test your daycare centers, grandparents' homes, wherever your kids spend a lot of time, even schools. You know, we've been hearing about like lead in the water at schools and things like that. And flush your pipes, guys. When you wake up in the morning, or if you've been away from your house for an extended period of time, just run your water for a minute or two before you use it to drink or cook or make coffee or anything like that. Just flush it all out. I think that's everything I have to share right now. If you're new to my channel, I would love if you subscribed. I have almost 600 videos on my channel of all sorts of different journeys our family has been on besides this one. Take care, be safe, and I'll see you soon.